let's go crazy. I'm here with Jackson Banks.
That's right, baby.
Stankin' Jackson Bankin'.
I'm getting a little stank on, you know.
Get your stank on, bud.
I'm just feeling myself here, you know.
This is the most peculiar setup that I've seen, but I do like it because I love chaos. I love entropy.
What's the problem here?
There's no problem. But okay, so
it's because the screen is like, oh shit. There we go. Is that better?
Sure. You have cool fingers. They look crazy. Like long.
Yeah, they're like Voldemort fingers. They're really spidery. Good for you know, ladies love a nice spidery. You know, they like feeling a large. Yeah.
Now let me ask you. Do you date ladies?
Yeah.
Okay. So when they see those fingers, how do they react? Do they go, "Oh, I like that," or do they go, "Oh,
it's time for my sexual nightmares to come true"? They say, "Oh boy,
finally." Dude, this is okay. So new shirt design for you. Camp Jackie. Yeah. And it's just a photo of your hand. And it says, "Are you ready for your sexual nightmares to come true?"
I don't know yet. The people might spin that the wrong way. That's the tricky part.
Yeah, we got to be careful about how people are spinning things.
Do you want your consensual sexual nightmares to come true? Do you want
Wait, how about this? Camp Jackie, and then just your hand, just all long and creepy. It just says consensual sexual nightmares here. How about that?
Houston, consensual sexual nightmares confirmed. For all your sexual consensual nightmare needs. I'm trying to make it a little more woman friendly. You know, I don't want to just
right. Yeah, it is a fine line because you don't really want to I mean, we're not trying to advertise insane creepy experience here, with a neon sign.
yeah. I know I want to advertise an insane creepy experience. I just don't want to be like, no girls allowed.
Right.
This is just for the boys. This is just for the incels.
It says no hot chicks. Yeah, and it's like no hot chicks.
No hot girl. Yeah, if you have self-respect, you can't watch Camp Jackie.
So I guess essentially I should probably introduce you because I discovered you through Jade because I do that thing where I find somebody who's very unique and bizarre and interesting. And I look and I go, okay, who are they? Who are they friends with, or what do they like? And so I saw you, and then I went down a rabbit hole of looking at your videos and everything. And I was like very blown away and excited by your weird humor and your everything about your videos and the people you're making videos with. And so I just really loved it a lot. And then I had, the brainstorm idea because I'm trying to repitch the draw, like a sequel to the Drawing with Skinner show. So I'm like, I want to try to get you in there. So I'm still, that's still it. I'm doing that. But I feel like what I love to bring to this world is a weirdo that nobody knows about, who's very parallel to everything else and a very unique voice. So, I just want to bring attention to you because I think you're the fucking best. And it looks like you're doing good in LA. You're having fun. Looks like you're doing gigs and you got to be picking up steam. Come on.
I got, I don't know if I'd call it steam. I'm picking up stank. I'm picking up some mischief.
Creepy steam sold here.
I'm picking up creepy steam. Many people have been creeped out. Many people get the whiff of fear. No, things are going good. I'm making a comedy special this year, a stand-up special with some folk. I don't know if I'm supposed to name the company or not. I should consult with them. But
Netflix.
That not them. Some very legitimate people, some very powerful, dangerous people want to make a record with me.
Creepy steam. So, okay.
We got the creepy steam going. You know what I mean? We got a whiff of fear on the streets. Yes, absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
So that's coming up because it's interesting. Like the video, when I first got into Instagram, I was like, oh, this is fine. And then they introduced the video thing where you could make video snippets and they were 15 seconds long and you could do weird things. And I was like endlessly pleased with the horrible videos I was making in 15 seconds. And I was like, this is cool. This is fun. And so I don't know, there's like something beautiful about the democratization of videos.
No, definitely. That's like the only thing I like about social media is that I get to put my videos out. Everything else I dislike a great deal.
Yeah.
But when it comes to me, when my needs are met, I approve.
Yes.
No, I at first was not down with the Instagram, like the brevity thing where it's like, it's going to be 1 minute and that's it. And I was like, fuck that. I'm a filmmaker, you know, but I really fell in love with it. Don't laugh. What? Come on.
No, I like it. I got like, fuck that. I'm a filmmaker. No, but anyways, I agree. I'm with you.
I'm a bad boy. But when I finally swallowed my pride and experimented with the 1 minute format, I found it to be so fun and so rewarding and like addictive. And just like the idea of cramming as much shit into a minute as you possibly can and just really mind fucking people.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. I pride myself in people being like, what the fuck was that? Like, I really want people always to be like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yes.
You know?
And you do that.
Yeah. And honestly, it's tricky because years ago, a comedian took me aside and he was like, don't stop being weird. You know, don't take advice from these other people. Just keep being weird, you know? And I'm never like, I don't get up in the morning and say, I want to weird people out. I actually get up in the morning and say, I want to be the sexiest son of a bitch you ever saw. And I do my hair and I work out and I take care of myself. I eat right. And people are still like, you are the weirdest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. I can't escape it. I just kind of, when I speak from the gut, people get they get weirded out.
Yeah. So let me ask you that because, it's a very unique, I think that it must feel strange to have this thing that is very uniquely embedded into your vibrational levels and just like how you are and how you're existing, your intonation, your voice, your life, your body, your hair, the way that you see things, the ability to freestyle bizarre non sequiturs and strange shit. Like you are deeply in that pocket. And it sounds like what you're saying is you don't intend for that. That is just what comes up.
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky now because I've been like doing it for so long where I know when I'm in that place that feels familiar to me. And so there is a certain, like, I needed to push. I don't know. I like everything to be like big. I needed to have that extra level at the top where by the end it's like transformed into like this different thing. I needed to like mushroom out and like,
right.
I don't know. I like things to be multi-layered, even if they're like a minute long. I want by the end, the piece to be like almost unrecognizable in a way where you're like, I can't believe it went from this. But it's,
confusing subtext that takes on a mind of its own where all of a sudden it's just, and I think that that's like actually a special skill because it is steeped in discovery for yourself. And then also not worrying about where it goes. Like you want it to be funny, but it's funny if you're laughing.
Exactly. No, I that's the thing. Cause I think people who are a little greener are like, oh, you're laughing at your own stuff. It's kind of weird, but honestly, that's really the only thing you have to go on. Like if you're not laughing at it, there's no reason for you to expect that anyone else is going to do the same. Like, and every time I've been like, oh, we'll see, we'll put it out. Maybe I can't put something out unless I like really love it. Like I'm really, really, really I'm just able to just watch it over and over again, like, and actually want to watch it over and over again, because that's the only way I can really know if it works. I'm sure not going to test it on real people. That's dangerous.
I know what you mean, though. It's like I've had a lot of, like, say, experiences where I'm collaborating with somebody, and it's close to good. You know, it's like it's like good, but it's could be great.
Yeah, you got to give it that extra.
Yeah, but like it's sort of like also realizing sometimes it's difficult to navigate a collaborative process where you through the actual experience of the collaboration understand that you have different tastes, and maybe the other person has like a limited capacity for the insanity or for the comedy. Because like, that's brutal.
Well, it can be. I'm more okay with it now just because I've made so many videos and I have so many of my own projects where I have total freedom and it's completely my baby and no one is going to like come in and change it. When I collaborate now, I don't really mind when someone's like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then you're kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? I'm more open to the give and take, because the two of your heads together are going to create something that you wouldn't have made alone. And usually, I don't know, I think 2 is like a really magical number for a collaboration, for sure.
Yeah, because sometimes the mathematics of just 2 people, and if it's somebody you trust, is like I'd rather just do that than have like the probability of it getting fucked up with a 3rd or a 4th.
Yeah, I mean, that's also exciting too. I mean, I feel like I don't know. I feel like you just have to I don't know. I'm trying to think of the most people I've ever collaborated with. I mean, probably in the band.
Recently, I've seen some videos where there's like 4 people, or you are appearing in somebody else's video where there's like 4 people.
Oh, you're talking about actors, like multiple people, not just me in my room, like doing creepy shit in the mirror and.
Oh, you're talking about split personalities. That's cool. Wait, so you're able to okay, yeah, I understand, because actually I created this new metal Pantera type guy that when Instagram first came out with the videos, and I created this guy and his name was Taco. and I bought all this gear from when I went to Ozfest, like a hat, like a cowboy hat, and all this like weird new metal guy gear, like, and I looked like the drummer from Pantera, and this guy was like always bullying me, like Skinner the artist, and I'd have this like back and forth where he's always like bullying me and taking credit for my art and all this stuff. So it was like super fun, I guess. Is that what you're saying? Like being able to, like, have you made a video where you're 2 different people in the video?
Not usually. I don't know. My process is like, because I really like the character thing and like costumes, and like, I just kind of like being a sick version of myself and then casting really like weird looking people around me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't usually play multiple people. I should, I'm down, but there is kind of like, maybe not one note, but there's a certain type of character that I play, and I'm down for like whatever, but there is like a certain, I don't know. I mean, I obviously like to delve into like different things, but there's either like really effeminate and like debased and without dignity, and a complete loser. And then there's like the hyper masculine to the point of being a complete psychopath. Like, I guess those are the 2 extremes I like to play in. You know what I mean? As far as like what really gets my goat. But also, I mean, when in doubt, I just like try to be funny, you know? I think that's kind of the thing when I'm lost, to just like remember that I'm just like a comedian, and it's okay to just be like, I make comedies. I do comedy. I try and make it like high concept, man. You know, I try and like blow bored with it, but at the end of the day, like that, I'm at my best when I just like I'm being funny, you know? So
yeah, I feel like one thing that you do really well that I love is sort of it's like you're a character as well as a sort of narrative of what is going on in the situation and the character.
Yeah.
Or something. I'm like, whoa, this is so weird. It's so trippy because I think
let's play a clip, play example for audience.
All right. But I think I'm gonna need you to send me a bunch of your best clips because I'm gonna post them and tell everybody to watch and stuff. But I mean, like, when did you first start like feeling pulled toward this like kind of extroverted dramatization, like leaning into your weirdness instead of being like ostracized by it or whatever?
Oh, you mean like when did I discover being funny to stop like feeling like life had no meaning?
Yeah. When did that happen?
I first was like funny to other kids. I mean, I always loved comedy, but I mainly like my older brothers were super fucking funny. Like they made this comedy tape where they're like being the dudes in Aliens, and he's just going like, "Oh, hold me, Sigourney."
Really?
Yeah, like 15 years old, just some of the funniest fucking shit I ever heard in my life.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's the only thing I really remember. And it's saying stuff like, Elmo like juvenile detention facilities. Like,
oh my God.
This is my first exposure to comedy. Was my brother making this shit like on like a little fucking cassette radio and just crushing it with the characters. Like, and I don't know, even it's weird because it's you wonder if you have a bias or if there is something to it. But I think back on those like bits and they're still some of the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. Because like, I don't know, just tapping into like the psychology of that film so perfectly and how the men do end up being like, hold me, Sigourney, you know, like,
yeah,
like Hicks just like dangling off of her and stuff. And I'm down. That's tricky. I'm all for that. I think that gender should be swapped and subverted, but it's tough because as a heterosexual guy, it's hard for me to say, hold me, Sigourney, and keep my heterosexual partner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that too deep a cut? Are we getting too
No, I'm just trying to think about like that's the scene where you're watching, you're cracking up at this sort of your immediate you saw them tapping in and making fun of like a portrayal of adult behavior. And the kids are infantilizing, juvenile, you know, like laughing at this, you know, very serious film about the juvenility of like their behavior. Mm-hmm. And that you saw that and you were like, oh, that's hilarious, you know, and that the world does make sense. And there's no more bleaker film than Alien. But the world does make sense when people are laughing in the face of the crushing entropy and fear of Alien, you know.
Yeah. No, I guess just his ability. I don't know. If looking back, it just was like everything was just like very like a dude's panicking, like we're not gonna get out of here, and he goes, shut him up, and then like pounds the radio, and he goes, what a mess. Like I don't know. For a boy, you know, I think it was impressive. I think he was but a 15-year-old lad. He's married with a kid now and stuff.
Wait, so how old were you? You were like 13 or something?
No, I was like 5 listening to this shit and just loving it.
Is your older brother kind of weird? Does he have the weird energy like you? What's going on with him?
My family's all pretty weird, like pretty unusual. I mean, we're like Mormons from like Utah, Idaho. So
right.
There's a weirdness. I definitely like leaned into it like hard by just going for it, taking a big old bite of the fucking weirdness. But I don't know. I've never set out to be a weirdo. I have set out to like be funny about things that I think are funny, like just like life being completely twisted and authority figures being malevolent in almost every way by nature of their authority.
Right. Yeah. Which I guess you could learn that from being in Mormonism, right? Like the weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
They kind of gave you all the fodder for you to become.
Oh yeah. When I was a teen, there were a lot of plots I wrote where the mentor turns and is actually the villain. Like this benevolent mentor is actually Mormonism definitely. Also, I had some teachers. I won't name the subject or the name because I don't want him to see this.
Yeah, yeah.
But I had a couple experiences with teachers where it was just like, oh man, he really cares about me, and it's like, no, he wants you to win. He doesn't like you that much. He likes you more when you win. That really like cut me up when I had that experience with a teacher.
Whoa, really? God, that's so deceptive and that sucks.
Yeah, and I have to remember this guy was like kind of like a pinch bipolar, definitely had mood swings, and definitely was either really jolly or like, what the fuck's going on? Like he'd either be like, ha ha, like jolly, or just like, fuck. Like,
yeah.
And I can kind of relate to that because I'm pretty vocal too about my emotions to a fault. And just ask the ladies.
Wait, you think the hands are creepy and weird? Wait till you meet the person.
What's on my mind? Yeah, just wait till I fucking tell you my fears.
But you know what? Let me tell you this though: is that a lot of adults, when I was in high school, I had a poetry teacher who like took me aside, and he's like, "Hey, Skinner," he's like, "What's it like? What's it like to take mushrooms?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, I know you do drugs. I know, I could tell. I was like, well, for the times that you're on the mushrooms, it's like you're able to leave all this smallness behind,
Hell yeah, and you're blowing the teacher's mind.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, that's all I wanted to know. And he's like, I'm too afraid to take them. And I was like 17, maybe 18.
Damn, that rules.
Yeah. And, but he was cool, but he was like, you're too frustrated with everybody around you. Everything is too stupid to you. And he said, let me give you he's like, let me tell you, Skinner, he goes, you know what your problem is? You don't let fools be fools. And I was like, wow, this guy thinks I'm like not a fool. That's cool. Or maybe he does, but or something, but it was cool. But like the thing I want to say is that I think your teacher, when you're conditioned a certain way, the way that you are communicate, it's like he might have just wanted you to win, but like you're like, I actually want somebody to care about me as a person, and I want to be seen as a person. But he probably wasn't even able to do that, and he probably never had anybody do that for him,
Yeah, well, I think that and P.S. that is the best moment when that one of your teachers takes you aside and it's just like, you're better than the other children,
You're better than the other children.
Not so many words.
But most of my teachers were like, you're worse than the other children.
Yeah. I was a good student, but I was also very like, I was having nervous breakdowns over debate meets and fucking around with antidepressants because I was just like I'm an anxious fellow, okay, and everything's better now. Ask anyone I've dated. Ask anyone I've dated. My emotions are completely in check and I'm in control.
Yeah. Well, me too. Totally. I'm with you. I'm exactly the same way.
Yeah. I mean, it's so obvious that everything is running normally.
Well, I got on the Prozac like 2 years ago during the pandemic. How did it affect your process? I feel great. Nice. Do better than I've ever done.
Damn.
Killing it harder than ever.
Now this is an ad. Now you got antidepressants tucked behind this fucking sweet ass. Like, you seem like you're going to be the mushroom guy, and you're like, dude, take Prozac.
No, I think mushrooms are really important too. But I think that, well, the thing is that if you experience like a lot of trauma and weirdness at a young age, your brain chemistry changes. And so
Wow.
when you become like really depressed, or if you have like physiological adaptations to threatening environments or neglect or whatever, it's like your autoimmune system turns on your body, your mind, your brain chemistry turns on.
Your body's like, we're supposed to die.
Yeah. Like I have a crazy autoimmune disease that I have to take injections, or else my bones try to fuse together into a demon armor, like a weird.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of your drawings, dude.
Yes, I am like that. But like, so the thing is that if you are kind of treated weirdly, or if you develop in this sort of maladaptive, emotionally traumatic environment, your brain doesn't, you don't release the chemicals, like the right chemicals are not released and they're not regulated. So what Prozac does is it just sort of goes, all right, here's the, serotonin and dopamine and all this stuff that you are supposed to normally have. Here it is. It's helping. So then you're like, oh, okay, I could kind of feel normal or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But so you were like, all right, the Mormon stuff doesn't work for me because I'm an expansive, interesting guy. And you're like, I gotta bail. Like what?
Yeah,
they kicked you out because you're a demon seed.
No, they were down. I was devout. I was not.
Oh, really? Holy shit!
I believed in it. Like, it was presented to me as reality, and I believed. And losing a religion is kind of like a fucking slow burn breakup, where you find one problem with it, and you're like, oh, it's fine. It's just one little problem, and then you find another problem with it, and you find another inconsistency, and then everything adds up. But with Mormonism, it was a slow burn because this is my reality. So I first doubted. I first had the thought pass through my head, what if this isn't true? And it just hadn't.
Oh, that's so huge.
Yeah. And I wonder if I have a bottle in here. The first, honestly, I mean, and if you told this story to a Mormon, it would be like, well, obviously he fell in with the wicked and they took his soul.
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering about this, but really what got me was I hung out with these like older, like atheist gamers, like in a broad sense. They were just like not religious, but basically they were like hard. They were stuck in this like tiny town of like 5,000, very Republican. And they were definitely the most like liberal dudes in that fucking town, like by a long shot. Okay. Not that that's saying much, but they were really, there were some very smart dudes kind of at the core of it, like really bringing out like access to really good art. Like I'm getting into beef art at like 15 and fucking,
okay.
Pixies and good shit, Raincoats, the Minutemen, like dudes that got me into good shit. And I was like making art with them. So huge impact on me. I had a very like harsh, like tutor, a high school buddy who taught me how to write lyrics, he was like my inspiration. He was a huge mentor. Anyhow, these guys are like gamers. They like to scream at you during Dota. You know what I mean? Not the nicest dudes ever. There was definitely some patterns of abuse, some bullying, but also great things. They were young people. So sometimes young people treat each other like shit. So there was some of that, but they were kind of like challenging the Mormonism. And the first time I ever doubted it, I was just like, I was defending religion, and they were like, "Fuck Mormonism," and I was like, "It's true. The prophet talks to God." He was like, "You believe the prophet talks to God?" And I was like, "Yes, the prophet talks directly to God." And he goes, "I'm going to talk to God. Check this out." And he grabs an empty Mountain Dew bottle full of sunflower seeds, talks into it, and goes, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?" Like, to see him just fearlessly like do that and just be like, "Hey, what's up?" Just openly deny God's existence. Like,
yeah,
it was that first puncture. And then that weekend, I just was like listening to Pixies because my bandmate had like given me Pixies to listen to. And so the first album I really got into was fucking Doolittle and Surfer Rosa on this Double Burns disc, just listening to all these like biblical lyrics while I'm up in Salt Lake at Mormon HQ, like doubting it. And wow. Yeah, it was really intense. And then there's other stuff that adds up. Because first it was like, so somebody doubted it. Whatever. But then there's stuff like, well, they didn't actually give blacks full membership until 1978. And you're like, wait, what? And because you're like, I've always been taught that we're right about everything. So my assumption would be blacks never had any limitations and the rest of the world caught up to us.
Oh.
But then I see us being behind, and it's like, it's the first red flag where you're like, this doesn't seem like it was guided ahead of time. It seems like it was guided behind time by an old man who's out of touch,
Yes. Yeah.
So God, if there is a God, he's not out of touch. If there is a God, he's like the most in touch guy ever. He's very hippy dippy and would never, unless God is just like a racist and he's just like, well, race is deeply embedded in Mormonism because in the Book of Mormon, you learn that Native Americans ancestors were cursed because of leaving the family and leading a life of sin, cursed and marked with darker skin. Now, it's possible that Joseph Smith cooked this up in a moment of desperation because he was pushing this theory that the Native Americans are Israelites that sailed from Jerusalem to America and populated it. And so I can picture him maybe being like, and I'm sure there was some genuine racism there too, but I can picture him being like, Native Americans are from Israel. You know what I mean? You guys are from Israel. And I think that he was going around going, you guys are from Israel. And then someone was like, Israelites are white, like or a dude from, you know what I mean? From Israel or whatever that area is like, I'm white. These people are not from that area. And he had to kind of be like, well, God cursed them. They were wicked. And, I think it was a combination of that and like, where did the savage come from?
Yeah.
But I the final scripture he ever wrote was an angel telling his wife that an angel commanded him with a flaming sword to take multiple wives. Like telling his wife that an angel would kill him if he didn't fuck other women.
Oh, dude.
And that's the last scripture he wrote.
That's epic. He's like, that's it.
Yeah, I got to do
wow. So once you got to that, you're like, oh, there's no such thing as flaming swords.
Oh, no. I'm down. I was always down with flaming swords. So that's why imagination is so kooky because Mormonism is far out. Like you go to the highest heaven and you get your own planet and you become God and God was once man. And it's like this cosmic like life cycle thing.
Whoa.
Very psychedelic, like worlds on worlds on worlds and gods making gods, like pretty far out.
No Xenu though. No Xenu.
No Xenu, but it's definitely in ways feels like proto-Scientology where it's like very American, created in America and just like wacky and like into outer space and but nothing like Xenu, but similar things where it's like I can't wait to get to the room and see the answers and you get to the room and they give you the answers and you're like because you're expecting something more tangible. You're expecting like a beam of light and this angel warps in and he's just like, come my son to paradise. But you never really get that answer. You get strong feelings. You get good feelings of happiness. You get feelings of comfort, joy, community, but you never get God warping down, or at least I never have. I mean, there are people that like very intensely claim to see ghosts and shit. And I don't know I'm not saying I believe in ghosts. I've never encountered a ghost, but I have spoken to people who are very like, are completely certain that they've seen UFOs and ghosts and you know what I mean? So I'm not ruling out that an angel might beam down and take me to paradise and, dissolve my penis with his magic powers and give me a sexless form ruled only by intellect. That would be great.
Wait, is that what they say is going to happen?
No, they're actually very like pro-sex. They actually imply kind of subtly that you're going to be fucking in heaven and making spirit children.
Oh, but you're hoping that God would come down and take away your sex and make you intellectual.
My ideal heaven is God's like, your sexual desires have been taken away. You're now free of this cycle of whatever is going on there, you know.
So
I don't
when
know.
you go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I should just like disclaimer, like, I don't know, being raised, like, I think because, you know, my videos are about sex a lot. There's a lot of like sexual fixation, what have you. And I stand by it. It's where we come from. I have the right to be obsessed with it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I have the right to be obsessed with my creator. You know what I'm saying, dog?
Okay. Yeah, dog.
You know, we're getting deep now. But I don't know. With Mormonism, it was tricky because they repress you and they're like, you're not going to masturbate. You're not going to have any sexual experience until your wedding night. So they don't say it's evil, but they build it up to this thing where it's like, and then you'll have sex. It'll be the greatest thing in the world, but only because you're married.
Yeah, bad idea.
Going from repressed to be like, actually, now you're like in a liberal community and sex is, you know, laissez-faire and everything's out there. And you're like, but then at the same time, there's old fashioned ideas left over that are bleeding into being like sexually free. You know what I mean? So, in the sense of like, I don't know, just growing up in Utah, it's just like, you feel like a little behind sometimes because it's like,
yeah, I understand that.
Just like a pinch, you got stunted like just a little bit.
Yeah,
so
you're like so you meet a girl, you see her, she's looking at your hands. She's not disturbed. She likes what she sees. And you're like,
yeah.
She's looking at him. And you go, you're looking at me like you want to know about, you want to see me spill my seed. Is that what's going on? You want to see some seed tonight? Is that what's happening? And then she's like, what are you talking about? You're like, well, that's what we call sperm. Where I come from, we call it seed. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking around. I'm kidding.
I mean, you're not. That's how a woman feels when she wants stand-up act. It's just like, Jesus Christ. Which I'll have to tell an anecdote about that later. But no, it's just in the sense of just like, you know, you're in this new like sexual world, but you've got this old-fashioned Mormonism. So you're like, let's go pick up some broads, some dames, some gals. You know, there's like a more old-fashioned like women. You know,
yeah.
And
but I think that's going to work in your favor. Actually, weirdly enough, I think that. Well, because I think because it's like, I don't know, like. People are a little jaded, and there seems to me that like everything does feel a little transactional. And you know, you literally have apps where the idea is that you bone somebody you don't know, and you're just like cruising up on the scene like fucking Andy Griffith or something. And you're like, hey,
and like intercourse. one intercourse, please. What are you talking about? No, don't take it away.
What is it? Yeah, one intercourse, please.
Intercourse, please. Wait, if I wanted, shouldn't I? That's the big no for a young weirdo, like young nerdy dudes. Definitely, it's just like when you're just horny as fuck and you just can't relate to people, let alone women. You know what I mean? You just can't. I mean, let alone in the way that you're like, there's this conditional thing. You know what I mean? I struggle with like conditional things, employment and like dating, where it's like their acceptance of you is conditional that you meet certain terms.
Yeah. It's
very hard for me to fit into what other people would like me to be. Hence, relationships and employment tend to be short-lived.
Yeah, I could see, but what I feel like is, it's harder, but it's going to be a better fit when it fits.
Yeah. And there are different, it's tough because you're trying to get everything to fit. You want emotionally, physically, intellectually, and maybe sometimes it's just one or two of those, you know? But there's this third thing where it's like not there. And it's just like, fuck, if this third thing clicked, I would be in this for the long game, but I can't shake that there's something here that isn't quite clicking, you know? It's agony because it's like this person is like being good to you. They're not doing anything wrong. They're very supportive, and you're just like, it just still can't. There's still something off. So I mean, I think that though, it's like
a stranger in a strange land
Yeah.
type situation where it's almost like, it would be hard, I think, ultimately to connect with somebody romantically, emotionally, physically, the whole thing, unless they had sort of the same kind of maybe weird, outcasty kind of sense of understanding shit. One thing that is really funny that you said, I had a friend who is a Mormon, and he got, he left, but he said that because you're not supposed to, masturbate or have sex, that he wasn't, but that his balls were getting too full, and that he had, and that he's peeing and stuff. He was, it was like his balls were leaking throughout his dick. He had cum coming out of his dick. Like,
you taught him how to masturbate?
No. No, but what happened was, so he talked to a doctor, and he said, hey, this is what's going on for me. And the doctor's like, yeah, you gotta jerk your little Mormon stick. You gotta crank that hog, dude. Your wrinkle stick.
He was Mormon. He went to the doctor.
Yeah. And the guy, because he was like, whatever, 18 or 19 or something, 20, you know what I mean? And he goes, well, I'm not supposed to do that. And he's all, well, yeah, because that's some dumb religious shit. This is science. You got to crank your hog and like drain your balls.
The doctor was like, son, I need you to crank your hog.
He's like, son,
you just crank your hog.
Son, you better get to crank it. Go in the back room. Spank it. So, I mean, it is weird because a lot of these like archaic thoughts and beliefs just don't line up with like what our bodies do or want or whatever. Yeah. And so you moved to LA, and you're there, you're like doing comedy and stuff. I mean, how long, or were you in the Bay Area for a while?
Yeah, just for like one calendar year. And now it was like one of the best years of my life. I loved it. I got so much out of that. It was awesome.
Oh, it's nice here. Were you in Oakland or San Francisco?
Oh yeah, you're in the Bay. I was in Emeryville, down the street from Pixar HQ. And I used to lend my voice to the animated feature. What's the one where he's dead and he's like playing a piano and shit? I was the lead in that.
Really?
The uncredited lead in that. They're still having white men play black men in animation, just uncredited. I am the lead in Death Note or whatever.
Oh, really? Where he dies and comes back or whatever. That's you?
That's me.
Holy shit. I was going to say, you really changed your voice to a really weird, that's strange. You should be doing voiceover stuff.
Yeah, I would probably, I do it a lot for my own shit. I do lots of voiceover and that kind of thing. But I should have let the bit play out, dude. I should have let it go.
You had me going. I'm an idiot.
No. And I should have revealed it at the end of the interview. That would have been better for me.
Yeah. But wait, so if you do voiceover stuff, I think you could, if you get like steady gigs, you wouldn't have to do a normal job.
Yeah, definitely. I just, everything is so.
Let's get that hat going.
No, I agree with you. I kind of struggle with like, I get so fixated on my own work that like, it's just like so satisfying that like, I know I should go and do voiceover work and get paid.
Fuck it.
But, and I know that I would find the right roles, like cartoons and stuff. I would fucking love that. Like Simpsons was my first comedic influence, I think. Like the first like show that really, when I first started doing stand-up, they were like, who was your biggest inspiration? I was just like, The Simpsons fucking 1 through 9, dog.
Wait, so when you were a Mormon, were you allowed to watch Simpsons?
Yeah, we could watch The Simpsons. Beavis and Butthead was a little more frowned upon because it was more fast. I remember when Beavis and Butthead was like this terror. It was like this, like,
Yeah.
this obscene thing. And it's really like some of the tamest, like most lighthearted. It's really South Park in terms of like being challenging to the audience conceptually leaves that in the dust. Not that, because Beavis and Butthead is still a brilliant show and like is funny on like a gut, like body level.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you, but it's like the difference between some stupid kids talking about licking toads and how they like Danzig than, you know, South Park or Simpsons, where they're like sort of eviscerating the status quo and you know, the laziness of people's behavior and like how stupid everything is or whatever.
And comedy is like the best thing for that. It's like, it's very cathartic to just like write about any trauma. I mean, I guess like, because I don't know, comedy, like I recently fell in love with stand-up because I went through I was in a personal entanglement that concluded rather unideally. For a long time, I was not getting on stage because I was like, I don't even know if I could because I'm so bummed. And then I finally got on stage and I felt 100 fucking times better. Like just expressing like what I was going through and having people laugh at it and transforming that pain into pleasure was just like, this is what has been missing, is like this outlet.
Yeah.
To guide me through, like, you know. So yeah, I think comedy is like, that's just how I deal with life. You know what I mean? Like I'm down for therapy and I'm going, baby.
Yeah, me too.
We're going to therapy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like stand-up is the ultimate therapist in the sense where you really take your ideas to task and say them out loud. And it is a harsher reaction because a therapist is trained to validate you in a way and give you peace and comfort and calm you down. Whereas like a comedy audience has no interest in that. You're supposed to be kind of doing that for them. You know what I mean? So it's not their job to comfort you if you start to fail, you know? So it's very raw and honest, and like you really confront yourself on the stage and like you really can let it bleed, you know?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. You know, so it's alchemical because like what you were saying earlier is like comedy. Oh, when did I get into comedy to help me deal with the meaninglessness of life?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking after you telling me this stuff about having your faith eradicated, and that
I like that word.
you unwound it. And it was a journey of unwinding your conditioning to think that the John Smith stuff was happening, and that in a way, it's in a way.
Go on.
All right. It's like you liberated yourself from the ignorance of those beliefs, and that, but at the same time, you robbed yourself of the sort of ignorant bliss that exists within that realm. And now you're on a quest to find your own belief stuff. And in a way, like through the comedy, where it's like laughing is the meaning of life, you know, being joyful, like having, I guess, processing, it, or what, you know, having a, what's that? I forget the word. I'm really sorry, but like having a catharsis of pain by acknowledging it and laughing at it and being human.
Yeah.
And then coming out the other side being like, I'm all right. Everything's okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And it's definitely, I struggle with that on stage just because I kind of eviscerate myself and kind of play a villain on stage, and play the man I am on stage is like a bad person. Like he's an evil, selfish, disgusting. And people see that, and it's easy to kind of, you know, blur the line, and it's like, is this him? Is this a character? And so sometimes it's not great with the ladies. That's been changing. You know, you've got to take the sweater off. You've got to show off the physique as your the physical power.
Take the gloves off.
that's been improving in a way, but I had this gnarly experience, and I had been having this experience because my material's dark and it's sexual, and I get that ladies are just like, white guy, and he's talking about dark sex shit. I get it. I get why you're not into it. I'm not going to be like, hey, fuck you, man. I'm just saying my piece. You know, I get. But I did this. I did the headlining demo for this album company, you know, and I'm doing this set. I'm like 45 minutes into the set, and there's these two like, you know, attractive young ladies to the left, and I turn, and not because they're attractive, they were just like, I don't know, there was just a moment. They were right next to the stage, and I was just like, and mainly I knew most of the people there, but so I was like, who are you? I've never met you before. Just like the true sign of a professional. I don't know you. But they were like, we're here for a dick appointment. And I was just like, oh, and I'm just like, I'm taken aback. These two hot girls are like in my audience saying, we're here for a dick appointment. And I like gather myself and I'm just like, oh, so you're here for on stage going like, so you're here for a dick appointment. And the crowd's like, ooh. And they're like, oh, no, not you. Oh God, no, not you. Our friend is at a dick appointment. We're killing time waiting for her.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, that's okay. I'm gathering, being funny. And I just go like, it's okay. I don't do comedy to get laid. And they go, clearly.
Yeah, you saved it. You saved the.
No. They said clearly.
They said that? They said clearly?
Yeah. I said, I don't do comedy to get laid. And they said clearly, and got a laugh.
Oh, no. Damn.
But it was chill. It was fun. And I got to like put them in their place because they were like chatting during the end of the set. And I was just like, silence, please. And that got the room back. But yeah, that was a tough moment where it was just like, is this even worth it? You know what I mean? It's just like, because that's part of the, you know, there's a rock star bravado where you're like, surely when I do this hard thing, you know what I mean, the ladies will see that I'm of value. You know what I mean?
But you yourself know that like you're playing this insane person or whatever. Yeah. So,
but I need them to know. I need to preface them like, girls, it's just a character. I'm super cool, but at the same time, I'm not super cool. You know what I mean? I can be cool to talk to. I can like impart wisdom. I feel like I pay attention in life. I can have a good conversation, but any attempt to be cool, their coolness comes from like fulfilling a purpose and like,
yeah,
you know, kicking ass and like, oh, that guy's cool. When I'm like funny, I'm cool. I'm coolest when I'm like funny and just like being easy to be around.
You don't. Well, see, that's the thing though. I feel like just being yourself is supposed to be the litmus test. Like just, you know, like being a comedian, you know, is fine and that's cool. But the cool part about you is that you're just like fun and understanding and you can have a conversation and be present and be sweet.
Yeah. And humor organically always comes from those conversations.
Well, yeah. And you're super funny, like naturally, and you don't have to be the villain person. Like you could just be like super mellow and relaxed. I will tell you this. I don't, you know, I'm an old grandpa now, but the way I see it, Sonny, is that like people just want like somebody who's actually decent and present and fun.
Yeah.
And like can be considerate and pay attention and listen. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's almost like if you're trying to do anything, I don't know. This is from being an old grandpa guy, because I think when I was young and I was like real good looking, like you had long hair, I was beautiful. But I'm just kidding. But I think that like, you know, there's this misconception that you have to be anything but yourself, really. Yeah. You got David Lee Roth shit, man. That's like just being yourself is like, because ultimately, like you were saying, you don't like the conditional stuff, right? You don't like it when things are conditional. So you have to be like, listen, this is the person, this is what you're getting. You ain't getting, you know, nothing else.
And No, no. I think in the last thing I was in, there were definitely, it sucks because there were definitely moments where it was like, this is what you're getting, you know? And they were like, I'm down. But then like as things soured, it was like, it's like the boxes. It's just like, I was present. I was not fun and funny and like fun to be around. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, you let things get to a place where, I don't know, I think you can be yourself a little too much, where maybe you put a little too much on the sleeve and you're like, this is what I'm feeling right now. Hey, guess what? This is what I'm feeling right now. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to have containers, you know,
yeah,
like really, you know,
cool.
because your partner is not supposed to be your therapist or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
She told me that.
Did she really? But you know what? I told this when I was interviewing Andrew WK on my show. He suffers from the same thing. He's like, my wife told me not to, that she's not my therapist. So I think everybody kind of, you know, but like, that's the thing. Compartmentalize it a little bit.
Yeah. And it was coming from a pro therapy person, but it was still hard to not be like, feel exposed in that way where they're basically in that moment telling you like, I can't handle this. They're basically they're not trying to be hurtful, but in that moment they are telling you you're too much, you know, they're not trying to hurt you, but they are in that moment. The message is the way you are right now. I can't deal with it. I can't be around you right now, you know, and it hurts to be told that in one way or another, but
it feels like rejection.
It does, yeah, and you gotta just like let that go. And I had trouble letting that go, and was just like, I can't believe you would fucking.
I can't believe you wouldn't fucking sit around and enjoy my insane rantings about my feelings. Well, you know, the thing is that like not taking stuff personally is like such a practice, because, you know, I have really big feelings too. Sometimes like, I'm just like, these are really, really big. And then I think to myself, is this the right time? Is this the right, you know?
Falling out of my chair, it's hitting the home so good, baby. Come on now. Come on, Skinman.
Come on. But like, I don't know. I have, you know, I talked to my therapist, but like, I think, you know, acclimating to be like having a lot of big feelings, being a creative person and all this stuff is like, you know, I realized that I've been with Christy, my partner, for like 18 years.
Son of a bitch. That's my ex's name.
Oh, really? Maybe she was cheating on me with you. That's no, but listen, but like, so, but the thing is that you realize that, like, you know, it's like, what do you want your partners to be? It's like, you want them to be your sort of romantic, fun partners, and you could share your feelings and stuff. But then, you know, it's really hard to have a really healthy understanding of like what different friends are, different relationships are, and all this stuff, because it's just difficult to navigate so many. I mean, like it is like a collaboration. A relationship is like a collaboration, you know? And so I realized that too with a lot of my collaborative partners. I'm like, dude, I feel like I have a dysfunctional ass boyfriend that I'm trying to like talk to so that we could make our collaboration go, you know, and it's weird because I start to realize like how certain kinds of communications work for some people and some don't. And it's like all this stuff, but I do realize that, I'm actually getting a lot better at diplomacy.
Yeah.
But I think you're a catch, buddy. I can't wait. We're going to do, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do we're going to do one of those love connection game shows when I come down there. That would be sick, huh? I always wanted to do that.
Yeah, put me on the love connection. For the record, I wasn't dumped. I dumped them. I tried to get back with them, and then I was dumped. It's a beautiful yin yang fucking. I'm glad to have experienced that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of inspiration there, but
yeah. Well, I'm going to say this. I think that you're, you know, the fact that you put yourself back on stage to do the stand-up, and that you kind of in that moment were able to see like, oh, this feels good. Like I could derive, like this is okay. I'm getting a little bit of power back. I'm feeling all right. Like I could do
power. I'm getting my power back.
I'm getting my occult power. I'm pulling it from the people's minds, and I'm feeling better.
Yeah, that's just the danger of any relationship, I think, is because, like it or not, your self-esteem will get tied up in their perfection for you. And once that's gone, you have to kind of reacclimate. And it was weird experiencing both, where it's like, oh, I've broken up with them and I'm like, this is the right thing to do. I'm feeling very good. I'm feeling very focused, you know, and then to have it like reverse. And now they're in that I'm feeling very good. I'm feeling very focused. And you're like, wait, where are you, you know, and just like the powerlessness of just like someone just having the power to make you feel better, with just to, you know, they won't give it to you. And it's like, those are the moments where your emotions can become destructive, where you're like, wait, where are you going? Give me the, you know,
yeah, wait, let's get back together so I can dump you again. Like it's like a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah. No, and sick psychology at play there. And if that was true, I hope not. I mean, I just like, I don't know. You just look back and you're like, wow, that was mishandled. Every step of the way was completely mishandled. But you don't get like try to with this person to go back and be like, I should have done XXX differently. You just have to like learn from it and be like, you know, maybe we're less of a bastard next time. Maybe we'll tone down the bastard. Not that there was any attempts to be a bastard, but by the end you look back and just like, what a bastard. You're just like,
well, that's important to be able to look at your own self and realize what's, you know, that's the part, I mean, you escaped the pain of being brainwashed as a Mormon to come out to LA to be able to experience all the different layers of self-examination.
Yeah.
You are. So you have this, the layers, dude, the onion layers.
Delicious layers of self-examination.
So you're out here, you're doing good, you're building up, you got your videos, which are hilarious. You are about to do your stand-up. Now, is this an hour-long stand-up special?
It's it's gonna be an hour. I want to incorporate some physical bits, you know. I want some sketches in there. I want to play around with the format a bit. That's what keeps it exciting for me, as far as like, because I don't know, stand-up for me is like, it's like my real juice comes from the cinema, but I love comedy, and that's how I like interact with human beings. And I love stand-up, and when I don't do it, I become depressed and weird, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. So have you noticed any of that the format for stand-up specials and a lot of different kinds of things are like stand-up experiences and stuff are like very multimedia now?
Yeah. I want to lean into that. I just don't find stand-up specials that interesting to watch.
Have you seen Sarah Squirm stand up live?
I've never seen it live. I'm a fan of her videos. She's very cool.
Yeah, Hell Trap. She does this thing, Hell Trap Nightmare, but she does live, and then there's like video stuff playing, and she's talking to the audience about the video stuff and all this shit. But like, part of me wonders if your video, like, how cool it would be to have some of these. Like, what's coming to my mind right now is that one video you did where the guy is trapped inside the car engine.
Oh yeah, French,
you know, and that, like, it's almost like you're kind of doing your video skits, but then there's a little bit like three-dimensional multimedia, like somebody wheels out like a cardboard car engine and he's in there and he's like, what's, you know, I don't know. I'm just wondering like what it would be like to integrate the stuff that you love the most about your videos into your stand-up stuff. Like that could be cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely want
a pain in the ass, but cool.
Yeah, and when I was in Utah, when I would headline, I would do a lot of like gimmicks like that and like sketches and like little musical numbers, and I did a little bit of that for this album, for the demo, and I want to lean in and like do that again because I feel like it worked well. But yeah, I don't know. I want the special to be like, it's like, yes, it's me. I'm doing stand up, but I want people to also just be like, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen next on this thing, you know. I want people to be a little on the edge of their seat beyond, is it funny, is it not funny?
Okay.
But a little shaken up and be like, wait, what's happening now, you know? I like just playing with my food before I eat it, you know? Bob the mouse back and forth before I have a little munch on them, you know.
Okay, I can get into it.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I get it. Well, that's cool. Well, this is I mean, is there anything else you want to say? We did an hour. Oh no, I'm gonna turn it off and then I'll say goodbye to you properly at the.
Hell yeah. No, I mean I promised myself I would not talk about the breakup in the interview.
Did you really? Are you serious?
I wasn't planning on it, but then
it's just natural.
Yeah. No, we had a good combo about it. I think we should, as far as the beat, maybe we just bleep your wife's name. Okay. And then we can keep the moment of, oh my God, that's my ex's name. You know what I mean? Without being like, hey, everybody, this is my ex's name. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. Do you think she's going to watch this?
I have no way of knowing.
No, of course not. Nobody cares about my fucking podcast. There's like 8 people are going to watch
I'm going to post it.
Yeah, okay. I'll bleep it out. I'll bleep it out so that everything.
Yeah, I don't want to, you know, professionalism. But that moment is too good where I'm just like, yeah, you know, my partner. It was just like Christ Almighty.
It's all good. But I'm really grateful for your time, and I want everybody to know about you because you're a genius. I think you're fucking funny. I hope I didn't
disappoint. I think we had a pretty good convo.
It's great. Everything's great. I'll talk to you, and I'll post this soon. Oh yeah.
Let's shall we plug?
Yeah, plug whatever you got going.
Campy Jackie on Instagram is going global. We are doing weekly by weekly video drops. We are really cranking. If it ain't weekly, it's bi-weekly. I swear to God. All right. Yeah, I'm really. I've got a big backlog, and Cam Jackie is about to turn out some shit you ain't never seen before. Starting with Thirsty Boy 3000, the virtual reality DM simulator that allows you to live your sickest, most delicious fantasies. So that'll be coming this weekend, no later. Also, you can catch me. I'm going to be at Britannia Pub Friday, April 8th, and then I'm going to be at. Should we plug the dates?
I'm going to plug this shit. I'll just put a lot of this stuff in the. But go ahead, man. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm going to get this out this week so people will know. But
yeah, I'll send you the plugs, the dates.
Yeah, send that all to me, and I will post that.
But yeah, Camp Jackie is alive and well, as you can see. That's right. Yeah,
Camp Jackie. Thank you, Camp Jackie. Keep
made love under your own logo before.
No, I haven't.
Skinner Neon. It's the best.
I have a feeling it might be.
I have a feeling, yes. Anyone will take your seed when you've got your name in neon. That's some valuable.
Oh, you're like call me Camp Jackie. You're like, and look at the poster too when you say my name. She's like, I gotta leave. Anyways, all right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man.